In this devlog, I had a completely new environment, improved the AI, and added a stats panel to each hole. It's been a while since the last Mini Golf Tycoon video, so I have a decent amount to show you, and I can say for about 90% certainty that the next devlog will come with a Steam page. And so without further ado, let's get on with the video. To start things off, I moved the building settings to a separate pop-up panel so as to not clutter the toolbar as much, and also added a third setting that allows you to turn off surface snapping. I plan on adding a few more, like the ability to change the grid size, turn on vertical grid, and change the angle of rotation. Then, I downloaded a simple tune shader to give to the clouds, but ended up putting on almost everything, which I thought looked a little better than before, so I kept it. And it wouldn't be a Mini Golf Tycoon devlog without improving the AI. I tried making it so that the AI only searches in a range of 180 degrees, plus the angle that the hole is at, but then I remembered that it wouldn't be able to complete certain holes that go back and forth. So I just completely removed that. But in doing so, I also found that I had apparently put the part that adds the values to a list in an else statement after the raycast for some odd reason, meaning it would add values if the raycast didn't hit anything. So it was actually very broken, yet usually was still working correctly for some reason. But after I moved it to the correct spot, it was working a lot better. This AI is never going to be perfect, but I hope that I can get it good enough to represent how people in real life play mini golf. Next, I started working on something I wish a lot of other games had, which is generating some foliage when you load a new game. It would help me a lot with inspiration by putting the courses through the trees and rocks, and not having to worry about placing too many trees myself. Here's how that went. So I've been working on some new foliage generation for basically the ground plane, and I'm in a testing scene now. Let's test this for the first try. I'm using Perlin noise pretty much. Oh, yeah, that doesn't work. I'm changing the generation for environments entirely, like it starts this on runtime. This doesn't look right to me. I think I need to change a few values. I adjusted a few values. Let's see if this looks good at all. No, I don't know what's wrong, really. Are they even going the right direction? I don't think the width and the height's right, because there's only filling up a fourth of it, and it doesn't look right. So this, I changed a few things. It didn't exactly work. I mean, it actually looks kind of cool, though. Like, you can see there's holes in it. The threshold is a little low. That basically changes how it generates. It went a little far over there. Okay, so I got the size correct now, but all we have is this little hole right here. So I really do need to change this threshold variable, and it will look a little better, hopefully. That might have been a little too high, so I'm gonna lower it down to be like about the midpoint, maybe. And then I'm also gonna change the density. Okay, so we're getting a little closer. I just really need to adjust these values. The density is a bit too low, maybe. But I want it to be more spread out. I think the scale of the noise needs to be changed. So there's a thing I'm gonna do. I'm also gonna try and see if I can get it to display the texture of the noise onto this plane that's on the ground, see if, like, to kind of see what it looks like. So I'll be back with that in a sec. Well, you can kind of now see the noise generated is really smooth and flat. If we were to pull this up a little, you can see that it's not very differentiating, and I need to add a scale variable for it to work properly, I think. So I added a simple scale variable. I currently have it set to 5, and if we pull this up, wrong thing, if we pull the ground up, we can see it looks a lot more random, and the trees are more spread out and all that. I'm gonna try a few more settings to try and get this to look right, but I think this looks pretty good. I do actually want to randomize the object scales. I already have them at random rotations, but I'm going to randomize the scale, and I think it's probably good. I'm going to mess around with a few more values, and I'll come back to you with the finished, or mostly finished product of the first stage, which is trees. And here we have what I think might be a good ending point for the trees. It is quite a lot, I know, but I think it looks pretty good. I might make it a little more sparse, though, so I'll do that real fast, actually. So I think that this is probably a good spot. I also made it so that the position is slightly randomized, too, because otherwise it looked more like it was placed like a grid. Like it is, but if I make it randomized, like either you get clumps and stuff here and there, and it looks a little better. So I'm going to actually give the ground its normal material again, and see how that looks, if I can. Hold on. Yeah, I think it looks nice. It looks a little sparse because it's only the trees right now, but if I add in more foliage, different kinds of trees, and rocks on the ground too, then I think it'll look a lot better. But I'm gonna go ahead and maybe add this into the main game, see how that works out. Okay, so here it is. I think it looks okay. These things might block the entrance, and obviously I will only generate it on the first time you load the save. So that's pretty easy, because normally I wouldn't have this tree in the middle of this course, or this tree here. But it does look pretty good, and you're gonna have the option to not generate trees and stuff. And I think it looks okay. With more trees and more things generated, it'll be okay. So I did get the rocks also generating, which looks pretty good, and I didn't use noise to spawn them, but instead just randomly placed them at a random location. And then I moved on to something that this game has been needing for a long time: a change of scenery. I'm not removing the mountain environment, I just thought I should add a different place for people to build their parks. So I made this desert terrain and a cactus model. But just adding cacti for a whole new environment didn't seem right, so I used this reference image to create some trees and rocks. This new environment allows for better theming on the western side, so I also made a little spinning wagon wheel. And if you didn't already know, I have a Discord server, links in the description, and some of the people on that server are very obsessed with moss, so they asked that I add something with moss to the game. I googled low poly moss and saw this really cool looking rock with moss on it, and decided to make my own version. It was honestly really fun to make, and I've also had a version without the moss. These big rocks look really cool and have a lot of uses, and if scaled down, they can be used as a little custom wall or fence for the courses, and if scaled up a lot, they can be used as entire settings for your holes. And at their normal scale, they can be a nice decoration or something to put a tunnel through. I made a really great hole with one, but accidentally hit the move button, and since I recently played a game where right-clicking resets the position, I, of course, right-clicked, which deleted the hole. Luckily, I have some footage of it existing, but I was pretty frustrated and figured other people would probably make this mistake too, so I made right-clicking when moving an entire hole just reset the position. I also made some changes to the main menu and added a way to change the environment you would like when creating a save file. You can also choose to generate the extra foliage or not. And to end off the devlog, I made a panel that you can pull up on any hole and view the stats, like how many plays it has, the average score, and how many holes in one guest have gotten. Currently, when a player plays a hole, the stats do not change, but I plan on adding that as it is relatively simple. Next time, I hope to have a Steam page ready for you all, and since that won't be enough for a full devlog, I'm also going to make a big start on the actual management features of the game. Things like graphs, money management, ticket prices, and ordering holes so guests play them in order, and more. And my goal is to have all the major systems like this done before school starts up again, which is in about a month. I also really want to get research done before then, but I'm not 100% sure I will, but I will try and put more work into this than I ever have before and get it out. Now that I have a Steam page, I should feel more pressured to finish this up and get it out to playtesters. But with that, I think it's about time to end the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.